So I want to start this video off by saying that as GPU miners, we kind of went through the perfect storm last year because we didn't have one, but three massive events that all worked together to obliterate our profitability. First off, we had Ethereum, the biggest moneymaker for GPU miners, where the developers of the coin basically decided that they'd rather take the money they are paying miners to uphold the security of their blockchain and give that money to themselves instead. Of course, I'm talking about the Ethereum merge where they changed from proof of work to proof of stake. So we lost the ability to mine the coin that was responsible for a massive majority of the profit available for GPU miners. But of course, the timing of this couldn't have been worse, as it happened right at the point where crypto prices were well on their way down and we were well on our way into a crypto bear market. So not only did we lose the most profitable coin to mine, but the coins that we still can mine are now all of a sudden worth a fraction of what they were just a few months earlier. Now, both of these things, while still very bad obviously, could have potentially not have had to be that big of a deal if there was no real cost to mining. Well, unfortunately, of course, as miners we do have a cost, the electricity needed to run our rigs. And wouldn't you know it, right as all of this went down, we were also hit by a global energy crisis that has raised the electricity cost to astronomical levels in many parts of the world. So, why am I bringing this all up? Just to complain? No, it's actually pretty much the opposite. And that's because of two reasons mainly. The first one being that, we went through all of that and GPU mining is still not that far from being profitable. And secondly, with how bad things are now, kind of feels like things can only get better from here. So in this video, I'm going to go through 6 different things that can happen which would make GPU mining profitable again. And we'd only really need one of them for profits to come back. So imagine if a couple or even all 6 were to happen, right? Although I am also going to talk a little bit about a few concerning things that could potentially reduce GPU mining profits even further, but that will be towards the end of the video, so make sure you don't click off early or you will miss that part. Alright, but first, before we get into any of that, here's a quick word from our sponsor. CoinLedger is a crypto and NFT tax software built to save you time and help maximize your tax refund. Thankfully, CoinLedger has made the process of doing this super easy. All you have to do is sign up for an account and link your crypto wallets. That's it. What CoinLedger then does is it looks at the transaction data of those wallets and uses that to automatically generate a tax report for you in your country's local currency. You can then take this report and export it into any tax filing software like TurboTax or TaxAct, or you can send it off directly to an accountant. Best part is that if you use my link in the description below, you can sign up and use CoinLedger entirely for free. And once you're happy with the reports and are ready to export, you can save 10% by using my discount code SEB. But that's not all. They're also doing a giveaway where you can win a free $300 tax report. So make sure you click on that link in the video description below for more details. So the first one is pretty obvious, but if power costs could just calm down again, that would of course make a massive difference to our GPU mining profitability. Because the only reason we are even using this term of saying that, mining isn't profitable right now, what we're referring to when we're saying that is that currently you're just paying more for the power to mine the coins than those coins are actually worth. But of course, if the price you pay for that power were to be drastically reduced, all of a sudden you are now paying a fraction of the price while still getting the same amount of coin, making you profitable again. And currently, as of making this video, that threshold seemed to be around a power price of 10 cents per kilowatt hour, where if you're paying less than that, GPU mining is actually profitable right now, but if you're paying more than that, you are, losing money. Now, secondly, in this same vein of saving on power cost, we could also see a breakthrough in mining efficiency. So in mining, efficiency is what we call the ratio of how much mining power or hash rate you are getting per watt of electricity. And this is dictated by a few different things. For example, some GPUs have better efficiency than others, simply based on the technology used in the hardware. And another example is on the software side, where the mining software that run the coin algorithms on your GPUs use clever ways to do so while using as little resources of your GPU as possible in order to save on electricity. So, what if, for example, this new generation of GPUs that are currently releasing end up being a lot more power efficient? By the way, I'm crossing my fingers that the upcoming RTX 4070 is going to be super efficient, since the 3070 was an absolute mining beast. Or just as likely, what if one of the mining software developers has a massive breakthrough in how to run some of the more common coin algorithms significantly more efficiently? And if you think that sounds ridiculous and that something like that would never happen, well, I have good news for you, because it actually has already happened a few times. For example, with the R mode in Team Red Miner, and most recently with the Caspa mining optimizations in LOL Miner and G Miner that actually made GPU mining profitable again for quite a lot of people. So we've covered power, but what else is there? Well, the third thing would be a reduction in network hash rate for one or multiple coins that are GPU mineable. So the network hash rate is basically the total amount of mining power that are currently active mining on a coin's network. And the reason this is relevant is because, practically speaking, the less network hash rate there is, the more coins each miner will get. And the reason for this is because in mining, the amount of coins that will be distributed to miners is a set amount. And all the miners that are active have to share this amount. Well, based on how much hash rate each individual miner provides to the network, of course. So if a network gives out 100 coins a day to its miners, if there's only one miner, he would get all of those 100 coins. But if there are two miners with equal hash rate, they only get 50 coins each, and so on. Basically what this means is, if we were to see a significant amount of hash rate being shut off on one or a few of the GPU mineable coins, that means there would all of a sudden be a lot more coins to go around for us that are still mining, meaning our profitability would go up, of course. And this is actually not an unreasonable thing to happen. There are a lot of absolutely massive industrial GPU mining farms out there. I'm talking warehouses full of thousands, if not tens of thousands of GPUs. And there are cases where the companies running those farms have gone bankrupt and have to completely shut down their operations. And now, speaking of coin distribution to miners, another thing that could happen is the developers behind a coin could change the way miners are being paid. Now, this is most commonly done to reduce the amount of coins being paid out in order to reduce the inflation of a coin. For example, you might have heard of block reward halvings before, like how Bitcoin cuts the amount of coins paid to its miners in half every 210,000 blocks, or roughly every 4 years. But there is nothing to say that the opposite couldn't happen also. There have been things along those lines before, like when Flux introduced parallel assets, or like the 10 different times that Ethereum diffused the difficulty bomb to speed up block times. We're also now in a time where we are seeing a lot of new coins being introduced on the market, many of which use GPU mineable algorithms like ETH or Kopao. And with each new coin introduced, that also introduces a new source of revenue for miners. And while that source may not be very big for most coins during the early stages, there's nothing to say that one of these coins couldn't take off in price somewhat and become a significant addition in revenue for GPU miners. And as an example of this, I want to bring up Nioxa, which was a coin that barely existed like 6 months ago and now provides over $200,000 of mining revenue every month. Imagine if we saw another 20 coins like this, or even just one, but that takes off a lot more than Nioxa has in terms of coin price. And finally, probably the most obvious one, GPU mining profitability would of course absolutely skyrocket if we were to see another crypto bull market. So lots of people are expecting crypto prices to go up again drastically in about 2 years time, and right now a lot of the GPU mineable coins are sitting at a price that is around 5 to 10 times lower than they were during the last bear market in 2021 to 2022. And we'd only really need most of those coins to go up in price by like 1.5 times to be profitable again. So imagine 5 or 10 times. But of course, I definitely don't know everything. So please let me know in the comments what you think will happen to GPU mining in the future. As always, I'm very interested to hear what you guys are thinking and kind of what your opinions are. And I do want to end off by saying that while this video has been focused on the things that would make GPU mining more profitable again, of course, things could also happen to make GPU mining less profitable. For example, pretty much the opposite of all of the things I've brought up so far could potentially happen as well. You know, like power costs going up further, network hash rates on these coins could increase a lot more, coins could reduce the payouts to miners, coin prices could go down even further, and so on. We could also see new hardware like ASICs or FPGAs being introduced that could make GPUs obsolete on certain algorithms. And finally, we also don't know how many miners have currently turned their rigs off and are just waiting to turn back on again as soon as profitability increases again, which in turn would then of course bring profitability back down again, since the network hash rate would now have increased.